Gigi, I killed it. Let's try again. Howdy, and welcome back. I'm Lily, and this is Gigi. And today we're going to be trying a recipe for Detroit-style pizza. Let's get into it. So, Detroit-style pizza is a pan pizza. It's not very similar to the Chicago style. It just has a thicker crust in a pan. It's got some good chewy, crunchy texture to it. So let's give it a try. So the crust is very simple. We have 2.5 cups of bread flour. Sorry, Gigi, didn't mean to startle you. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and we have between 1/2 and 1 teaspoon of salt. The recipe does call for 1 teaspoon, but we try to cut back on our salt a little bit. And lastly, it calls for 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of room temperature water. So things to keep in mind on this recipe is bread flour. So bread flour is different from regular all-purpose flour in that it has a higher protein content, which develops the gluten, which makes a chewier bread. So very important to do the bread flour. Let's pop this in. It says to mix this until it is elastic. Let's give that a whirl and see how that goes. I'm going to do about 10 minutes of mixing on low to medium, and we'll see where we are. Uh-oh. Se falló. Gigi, I killed it. Let's try again. Why does it do this to me? It was working, I turned it off, and I jinxed it. Well, guess what? We're mixing this by hand now. Which is fine, This doesn't look like a terribly stiff dough anyway. Probably gonna take longer than 10 minutes, so. All right, let's put this out of the way. Hope that it recovers. Let me get a, geez, what a mess, right, Gigi? I think a wooden spoon would be the way to go. Let me grab one of those. Just for funsies, I'm going to time this. So 1:44. Try to scrape down all the flour from the bottom. Look at it. It's all gooey in there. So there's no unincorporated part of this dough. The reason I'm bothering to keep stirring it is to hopefully develop some more gluten, so I have chewier pizza crust in the end. When I moved to Michigan, that was a new kind of pizza for me to try. And we used to eat at Jets for Detroit-style pizza, and that was delicious. There's one Jets in San Antonio that I know of, and it's an hour drive for us to pick up pizza, so that doesn't happen very often. Okay, this is looking much more smooth than it did when I started. It's only been 3 minutes. We're gonna go a full 5, I think. 150, I'm gonna call it mixed. For our first rise, I'm going to transfer this to a well-oiled bowl. Try to scrape it all out, and I guess that's what my spatula is for, right? So I'll switch to that. That seems pretty empty. We've got a good percentage of our dough in the bowl. Now I'm going to use my handy dandy silicone mat and cover this over. Because it's in the upper 80s today outside, I can take this outside to rise. So I'm going to take it outside. It's going to rise for about 2 hours, and then we're going to transfer it to a pan. So I'll see you in 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. Our dough has at least doubled in size. It's nice and bubbly, nice and warm. We've been keeping it outside. You want to smell too? Okay. So now we're going to transfer it to our pizza pan. And we're going to use an obscene amount of oil for this, kind of like focaccia. And spread this all the way around the pan and up the sides. Scrape down some of this. I'm going to spread this out in the pan a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil on top too so my fingers don't stick as much. You'll notice it's not really relaxing into all the sides of the pan yet. That's okay. We're just going to spread it out the best we can. And I'm going to cover this with some cling wrap. And it's going to go outside for another 2 hours to rise again. If it gets up, I'd say above halfway up the pan, we're going to stop the rise and we're going to move on to the next step. See you again in 2 hours. You ready to get down? It's been about an hour and a half. The dough is now about halfway up the pan. You can see that it filled in all the gaps. I'm trying not to jostle it too much because the bubbles are where it's at. We don't want to get rid of those. Now here's where we're going to take a break from the recipe. The recipe calls for putting the cheese first and then the other toppings on top of that. No, we are not doing that. Putting the sauce down first. To not disturb the bubbles going on, I'm going to put it in rows, if you will. Very gently. I do love a saucy pizza, but I'm not going to sacrifice all the bubbles for spreading the sauce out. If you know a better way to do this, let me know in the comments. Feeling good about that. I'm going to put the pepperoni down now because I'm worried that that is the bit that's going to burn. Oh no, I popped a bubble. Poop. And then for the rest, I'm going to put some black olives down. These are pitted, of course, don't have a pit. Last but not least, cheese. Mozzarella. And we're not going to try to leave like a raised crust around the edge. We're just going to go for it on the mozzarella. You'd like a little piece of mozzarella? Like some cheese? I can get you a little bit of cheese. Let me get this going first and then you can have some cheese. But if I drop any, whoops, if I drop any, then you can have some. I think there's, 2 cups of mozzarella in this package and I don't see any reason to save it, so let's just load it up. Again, whoops. That looks pretty good to me. It's going to go into the oven for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. When it starts becoming dark in some places, I will take it out. The oven's on 450. Screaming hot oven. Putting it right in the middle. And we'll check in 15 minutes. Wow. Wow. I think it may be too hot for me to set it directly on here. Maybe that'll help. Okay. I burnt myself last week with a recipe, so I want to be super careful this time. So I'm gonna try loosening it. Oh, it felt really loose already. That's good. I'm gonna try to scooch this underneath and make sure we're loose. Totally are. Okay, Gigi, I'm gonna try to get this down onto the cutting mat. Oh, okay. That was easier than I thought it'd be. Great. Do I wanna put some basil on it and be fancy? I kind of do. I think it needs a little something to pretty it up. Okay, well, we've got a little bit of salad going on top now. So Detroit pizza, in my experience, has been cut into squares or rectangles. Oh yeah. Let's see for this. This is really hot. I hope I don't burn myself. Maybe I should wait a sec. What do you think? Tell you what, you have a tiny piece of crust and I'll take a bite too. Oh, okay, okay. I'm really excited about that. Is the crust worth it? Buen provecho. Oh, blew off my basil. I don't know if you can even see the bottom. You can see the bubbles. And it got all crispy with all that olive oil I put. Can you hear that crunch? This is really good. Really good. So if you can't drive for the hour out to get authentic Detroit pizza from a place like Jets or something, definitely try this recipe. It was very hands-off after I did the initial mixing because my mixer died. And this is super good. I'm gonna serve this with a salad for dinner and we'll be set. Well, thanks for joining Gigi and I today. We appreciate your support with the new channel, and let me know if you have any good recipes for Detroit pizza. See you later. Bye-bye. Another piece. You want another little bitty bit of crust? You do, don't you? But chill out. Don't take my finger this time. Listen to the crunch.